Good morning to all of you. This is mathematics project on Delhi and Sikkim. This project is presented by the students of class 10th F. The names of the students are M. Ganga Ram Balaji, Prince Kumar, Devan Singh, Kinshuk Dogra, Sunny Kumar, Sahil Kumar, Mohammad Anas and Piyush Kumar. Fibonacci sequence. In mathematics, the Fibonacci numbers, commonly denoted as Fn, form a sequence called Fibonacci sequence, such that each number is the sum of two preceding ones, starting from 0 and 1. Fibonacci sequence appears in Indian mathematics in concentration and connected with Sanskrit prosody, as pointed out by Parmanand Singh in 1986. Fibonacci numbers are also closely related to Lucas numbers, Ln, in that Fibonacci and Lucas numbers are complementary pair of Lucas sequences. Fibonacci sequence in nature. Fibonacci sequences appears in biological settings such as branching in trees, arrangement of leaves in stem, the uncurling fern, and the arrangement of pine cone. Kepler point out the presence of Fibonacci sequence in nature using to explain the golden ratio related pentagonal form of some flowers. In 1754, Charles Bonnet discovered the spiral phyllotaxis of some flower plants were frequently expressed in the Fibonacci sequence and number series. For comparing Delhi, Delhi is located in northern India at 28.61 north and 77.23 east latitudes and longitudes. The National Capital Territory of Delhi covers an area of 1,484 km square. It has a length of 51.9 km and a width of 48.48 km. Delhi is known as the heart of India. Even Delhi also goes under the Fibonacci sequence. When we see Delhi from sky, the places like Connaught Place, India Gate goes under the Fibonacci sequence. For comparing Sikkim, Sikkim is a state in northeastern India. It is situated in the greater Himalayas and is very high than the sea level. Sikkim is a beautiful state, therefore it is also known as the window of Himalaya. Many flowers like Impatiens, tuberculata, begonia, gemipara, Hoya adeni, etc. are grown in Sikkim. In Sikkim, there occur a festival, namely Flower Festival of Sikkim. Here, many different types, species, and colors of flowers are there. People all over the world visit here. All the flowers here grows in a specific sequence, that is Fibonacci sequence. This sequence of growing makes a flower a rich look. Different flowers explained by the students. Students learned this sequence and explained the growing pattern of the flowers growing in Sikkim and Delhi. These have been explained in the upcoming slides.
Sunflower. The pattern of seeds within a sunflower follows the Fibonacci sequence. We know that each number in the sequence is the sum of the previous two numbers. In sunflowers, the spiral C in the center are generated from this sequence. There are two series of curves winding in the opposite directions, starting at the center and stretching out to the petals, with each seed sitting at a center angle from the neighboring seeds to create the spiral.
Fibonacci sequence in the famous branchet of Sikkim. In camellia, the no spirals in the camellia is as a Fibonacci number. The Fibonacci sequence starts with 1, 1 and then adds the previous two terms to get the next. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34 and many more. Start counting the spiral in the pine cones or seed heads or the petals in the flowers. You will be amazed at how often a Fibonacci number turns up.
Fibonacci sequence in spiral aloe vera. The spiral aloe vera is also grown in plantation in Sikkim, which has a unique shape rather than other aloe veras, and it obeys the Fibonacci sequence. They grow in a sequence of 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 and so on. This is the growing pattern of spiral aloe vera. There are series of curves starting from center and each leaves form a certain angle to form the spiral.
Rose. The pattern of petals of red rose follows the Fibonacci sequence, that each number in the sequence is the sum of the previous two numbers. In red rose, the spiral of petals are generated from this sequence. There are series of curves starting from the center, with each petals form a certain angle to form the spiral.
Fibonacci sequence in Phi flower. The famous flower called Phi is mainly a Japanese flower, but it is cultivated in Sikkim for the flower festival in various colors. The petals of these flowers are arranged in Fibonacci sequence, that is 0, 1, 1, 2, 3 and so on. This is one of the major examples of Fibonacci sequence in nature.
Dendrobium. The number of spiral in dendrobium, a Fibonacci number. The Fibonacci sequence start with 1 and 1 and then add the previous two terms to get the next. Example 1 to 1, 2, 3 and 5. Start counting the spiral petal in flower. You will amazing at Fibonacci number.
Delhi flower zone. In Delhi, there are many flower gardens like Mughal Garden, Lodi Garden, Inti Marg and many places. We are able to find many flowers in winter season, in spring, which get bloomed in our garden or in park. Sometimes we see also many fresh and beautiful flowers get blossomed at roadside. As we know that all the flowers obey a particular sequence, that is Fibonacci sequence 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34 and so on. Fibonacci sequence in Cryptanthus. Cryptanthus is a leaf-type flower which is grown mostly in capital city for reducing the pollution in house. This grows in a sequence named Fibonacci sequence. The sequence starts with 1 and then previous two terms to get the next number like 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 and so on. The leaves of this leaf flower grows in this sequence only.
The famous brackets of Delhi lotus. The national flower of Delhi in lotus. The height of lotus 2 to 3 inches. The number of spiral in lotus is a Fibonacci number. The Fibonacci sequence starts with the 1 and 1 and then add the previous term to get the next 1 and 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 and 13. You will amazing that to make a Fibonacci number turn up.
Fibonacci sequence in Jasminium augustifolium. People of Tamil Nadu living in Delhi must have the flower Jasminium augustifolium in their house. This flower is commonly used for their prayers and any other occasions. This flower is commonly known as Pichipu, wild jasmine flower. This flower, when grows, it is in spiral shape when it resembles the Fibonacci sequence. They have 5 to 8 petals and they grow in 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5 and 8 and so on.
Peony. In nature, many flowers follow Fibonacci series. It is the best example where we see the relationship of nature with maths. The pattern of petals of common peony follows Fibonacci sequence, that is 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21 and so more. Each number in the sequence is the sum of the previous two. As we look in peony, the center are generated from this sequence.
Conclusion. Fibonacci sequence is a sequence when the previous one gets added up to get the new number like 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13 and so on. This sequence is followed in the growing of flower. The petals of each and every flower grows in this manner. Not only flower, the sea and ocean wave, the shell of snail, the galaxies, cyclones, etc. also follow the same sequence.